Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about design thinking and remote facilitation. This is a video synopsis of an article called How to Feel Free and Inspired When Workshops Are Remote. This is written by Daisuke Yukita. He works with IDEO, Japan. This is very useful for virtual facilitators and managers also. Ever since the pandemic has happened, there has been a dramatic shift in which trainings are conducted. We have moved from a physical setup to a remote setup. And as we move to a remote setup, there has been challenges to both the facilitators as well as the participants of the program. Daisuke actually applied the principles of design thinking to see how to make these remote workshops very effective. And we are going to share with you the synopsis of what has been the learnings. In a physical setup, Daisuke says that there are few things which are very, very important. And, we had this advantage in a physical setup. The first thing was that, you could actually make the people move out of their comfort zone. The second thing he said that you could actually check on the mood of the people and make your, guide your programs in a way that you felt it. The third thing was that there was an element of physicality. You could move people from one place to another place. And the fourth was you could actually encourage people to implement. And mind you, all these four elements have its own set of challenges when you move to a remote facilitation. So let me tell you how Daisuke, what he found for each of these elements. Now he says, when you want to make people move out of the comfort zones, you need to do certain things. It has become very boring for participants. Remember, they are attending a series of meetings, managerial interactions. Almost everything has gone remote. So for them, even one facilitation has, if going remote, is just become one of the things. The challenge is how to make them feel, move out of that comfort zone for this facilitation and be there in the program. So he says, why don't you encourage one of the activities he says is why don't you encourage the participants to have their own virtual backgrounds, installed in the system. This can make it very exciting, and they become a part of the program. He also apparently has developed a tool called the snap camera. Remember, we had this Snapchat app that was going on where we could have our own photographs with some characters coming into the photos with goggles, the horns and all that. Similarly, in Daisuke has actually implemented has created a tool called snap camera, and these various elements like you can become a deer, or you can have various characters of yourself playing out in the video. This actually helps people to come out of the comfort zone, feel far more engaged with the audience. The second thing that he says is that how do you check the mood of the people? For this, he has actually developed a tool called the mood checker. And in the mood checker, he sends out a link, and the team members enter the details, and he actually checks the mood of the participants in the program. I was also thinking how you could do it without the app. There is also an option you can use when you're going through Zoom. You can use your poll and say, how's the Josh? And then scale it from 1 to 5, and people would respond. So you would know where they stand at the current moment. And then you move your programs the way you wanted to move it. The third thing that he says is, listen, there is how do you make people mobile in the virtual workshops? Remember, in a virtual workshop they are anyway sitting in the chair, they can't do anything, and they have to be in face with you, so they are sitting in the chair. So how do you make them mobile? So what he says is, one of the activities that Daisuke suggests is that why don't you tell the participants that they go to the window, and from there they take 3 snaps or 4 snaps, how many number of snaps they have of what's happening outside, and come and show it to them and talk about them. That can be a very interesting way to make them move out of the chair, mobile, and get some ideas. However, He has also developed a tool which is called the high five tool, and where when you play that high five tool, you can actually play with like this high five in the with the system, and it actually comes out in your computer, and you can play high five with them. Very interesting actually. And as I'm attaching that particular article in the below, you can actually find a link of that. And the last thing that he talks about is that how do you implement ideas. In a physical setup, you could actually tell people, listen, let's build prototypes of what you have done and how where you could implement it. But in a remote setup, what could you do? So he suggests that, listen, identify some of the low hanging prototypes that is possible and just try to implement it. When you implement it, the mindset actually begins to happen. Listen, we can do something on a remote situation. And then the participants would go remote, would implement all that, and there will be a mindset shift that actually happens. So these are the four things that he suggests, and that how to make your virtual trainings far more effective. I hope you found this very useful, and I'm sure this will give you an edge when you're doing a remote facilitation. Okay, I'm also sharing with you the link of this particular video. Thank you so much. Yeah.